Okay, one second. Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 61 of Wise Wednesdays with RK. I am Ruqya Khan. I come from the world of words, and after being a journalist for more than 20 years, I decided to put my interviewing skills or my affair with words to action to this platform that you're viewing us on. And the conversation today is with Ashtar Tashi, and she is a spiritual mentor, a joyologist. She's a soul healer and guide, and author of my favorite book, Keep Shining. And that's the time from where I have started following her work, falling in love with what she says, what she speaks, because she's somebody that I've observed who shares wisdom so in flow, seamlessly. And it brings me great pleasure to bring to you Ashtar Tashi. There she is.
Hi,
Welcome.
hi Ruqya.
I
Hi, how are
su-
you?
I am good and super excited to have you on the show. Thank you for joining. Um, I would request who's watching to let us know who it is so that I can acknowledge you for the time you're giving us. And I think there's a little bit of a glitch, which is why I was confused when I clicked live. There is I think a little glitch with Facebook. So if you're watching on the Facebook page, please give me an acknowledgement that you are still able to view it so that we can take forward the conversation. All right. And having said that,
Thank you so much
interestingly,
for having me on your show.
thank
That's what
you.
I'm waiting to say.
Sorry, it was like it's
No, no,
interesting,
no.
isn't it? We're talking about self sabotage, and the system has decided to play sabotage on us. So this is interesting how the universe
We
works.
need we
Yes,
need to heal the system. That's
yes,
okay.
we do. So we've got Srikant who's watching. Thank you. And
Hi,
uh,
Shrikant.
yes, and
Uh,
we've got Wilson on board as well. Thank you for giving us your time.
Hi.
And Tashi, without really deviating from the conversation, we picked self sabotage as our conversation today. Kasaji and Sonia, thank you for joining us. So, when I say self sabotage, we said dealing with self sabotage. Do we focus on the self, or do we focus on the sabotage? As we
Very
open the
good
con,
question. I
as I
love this. I love this. Wow. That's
thank
why
you,
you're the queen of words, babe. I love this.
thank you.
Okay. So we focus on both. Okay, we focus on both. Why we focus on both? Because is my voice echoing?
No, no, no. You're good.
Okay, okay, I can hear it somewhere at the back. Okay, so when we are looking at these two words, self and sabotage, we are looking, Ruqaya, at actions of self, actions of self that come in the way of our intent.
Hmm.
Okay, so whatever intent I have, when the words come, when my action comes in the way of my intent, then I am sabotaging my own self, right? So both the words come together for that reason. I am uh, killing it for myself, but right now the word killing it, it's like a very trendy kind of thing to say. I'm killing it. That's a very hip kind of thing to use. But I am not talking about that kind of killing it. We are literally killing our own opportunities. We are killing our own growth. We are killing our own self confidence. All of that when we are indulging in self sabotage. And uh, I use the word indulge because we get pleasure out of it, not
Hmm.
realizing that it's actually a cause of pain. It's not a cause of pleasure. It may give momentary pleasure, of course. Anything that gives
Yeah.
momentary pleasure feels good, even a bar of chocolate, right?
Hmm.
But if you overdo it in the long term, that's going to harm you. So self-sabotage feels very nice. There are various reasons why we do it, of course, but um, it's going to bother you later.
Hmm.
So it's for the
You know.
self, and it's killing it.
Hmm. And I like what you said there, but I'm a little curious when you say it is an indulgence. So how I was looking at sabotage was it's something that you're doing to kind of keep yourself protected from the unknown. Um, you're not trending. You're not going to go outside your comfort zone. So to protect yourself from your from stepping out of your comfort zone, you're staying in what is comfortable. You're staying in what is familiar, and so sabotage is one way of doing that. Why would you say
So,
it brings
yeah.
pleasure? Yes.
So why it brings pleasure is, like I said, there are a few reasons why we do this, right? The self-sabotage bit. One of the reasons, I've kind of been writing my points and notes and things like that, right, before coming on this live, because I like to do a fair amount of study
Yes.
and go within and go into my own experiences of life and things like that.
Ji.
I have been a victim of self-sabotage myself, for myself,
Hmm.
okay, for a very long
Hmm.
time. And that's why when you were talking about the book, thank you for speaking so kindly about my book, Keep Shining.
It's amazing.
But the whole idea of writing Rokaya, that book was, it's all experiences from my life. I should have written a chapter on self-sabotage. I didn't. I don't know what I
Hmm.
was doing, but maybe that time it didn't strike me that I should have. But having said that, when I am writing my notes and when I'm doing this, I figured out there are three main reasons. And the indulgence part, or the part that kind of makes us feel good when I'm saying this, is
Hmm.
because it is about the control issues. Is that what your question was? That
Yes.
what part of it is? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So when we try to control, this is one of the reasons, that when we try to get control on
Hmm.
something in our life or any situation in our life, we get control on somebody else's emotions, makes us feel very powerful, not realizing
Okay.
that we are ruining it for a very long time. We're going to finish that relationship. But for example, if I am in a relationship with somebody very close, or lover or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, I'm in that relationship and I get into the space of self sabotage of any kind,
Hmm.
I may want to ruin it for myself because of other reasons, which we'll talk about a little away from this, a little further away. But when I want to ruin it for myself and create self sabotage in that relationship, it gives me the sense of power. I will walk away from you before you can do that to me.
Hmm.
Right?
Okay.
The minute
Okay.
I do that, I will not let Ruqaya tell me that, Tashi, you're horrible and I'm going to leave you and you're not my friend anymore, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say, you know what, Ruqaya, I am not happy and I am leaving this relationship. Or I am not happy, I am leaving this job, resigning, doing whatever.
Hmm.
Why am I doing it? Why am I doing it? Is because I'm coming from a space of, at least if I am ruining something for myself, I must have the control. How can I give the control
Hmm.
to you? And why
Okay.
should I let you get the pleasure of making it terrible for me? Because I'm already feeling like a heel. I'm
Hmm.
feeling sick about what I'm doing, right? I know my pattern. Interestingly, people who indulge in self sabotage already know their pattern. And
Right.
hiding away from that pattern and literally shying away from it is another form of control
So,
and another form of self sabotage.
yep. Yep.
So I am going to walk away from there with all control. I have decided to walk away. You didn't let go of me. I did.
Hmm.
So that feeling is very powerful. It's very empowering. So
Hmm.
that's an indulgence. I like that feeling of control every time I do it. Becomes a pattern.
Becomes a pattern. And I like that you brought the word up, pattern. And Kosaji, please let me know if my volume's better. I've been having trouble with this. I don't know why. So, how do you identify a pattern? Because you grow up and there is a particular way that you do certain things. And it's pretty much like if you're inside the picture, you can't see outside, right? You're so into it. You're so associated with it, if that's the word. You're so associated with the pattern that you're not able to identify that this is the pattern that I'm living in. So how do you identify
Sure.
a pattern so that you can break it, if at all?
You can break away from patterns, Ruqayya. All of us can, and we must break away from patterns. But yes, like you said, the first thing is you have to be able to identify it, right? Now, when you are trying to identify a pattern, how does it come into your immediate space for you to see? It can take years. It can take years. You may not even realize you're running through the same kind of repetitive, self-damaging or any kind of pattern because you are, like you said, in the picture yourself. You're not outside the picture. तो आप तस्वीर के अंदर बैठ के अपने आप को नहीं दे सकते. You have to step
बिल्कुल.
out to be able to see inside, right? Now, pattern is when you are going to see in your life, why does the same thing keep repeating? Why is it that every time I make new friends, for example, I'm just throwing this here in the air, that every time I make new friends, they immediately get attracted to me, right? And I feel very good. It's great for my ego, it's great for my self-worth, it's great for everything else, around me. I'm very happy about it. But before I know it, they're all leaving me. Literally like dead flies, they're all leaving my life. What is it? Why is it happening every time? Every time I make a new friend, I go searching for a new friend. I make a new friend. My personality attracts them. My whatever attracts them. They become close to me. After some time, I see them. Same thing is happening. We are having fights over same things that I had with Ruqayya. Then I'm having with somebody else now. What was happening with Ruqayya? The way she was answering back to me and saying certain things to me. Oh my God, I've heard this before. Somebody else has said this to me. So obviously, I have to be, I'm not dumb. I should be able to kind of pick it up and say, okay, so this is what I am doing wrong. But then
Hmm.
again, but then again, it is my prerogative if I want to even learn from it. I
Hmm.
might be very happy कि कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Today one friend, tomorrow another. I might realize that, oh my God, they're getting attracted to my money. I might
Hmm.
realize they're getting attracted to my looks. I might realize they're getting attracted to my, extra giving nature, where I'm just going on giving, giving, giving. I'm a free fund giver and they're freeloaders. And they all do the same thing to me and leave, right? That is something I have to start observing and then say, so that's the pattern. So I need to change something in myself. The
Hmm.
fault is not with the outside. Always remember that. It's not even a fault. But the learning always has to be here. Everything is about me.
Yep.
However arrogant it sounds, but I tell everybody this, that please remember everything is about you. You are the most important person in your life. And if the patterns are repeating in your life, you've got to figure out what is it that you need to repair, not the other person. So
Hmm.
patterns are just repetitive things that we are inviting, and they will keep repeating in various areas of our life until we don't see it. So we have to go inside the photograph. We're already inside the photograph. I think we need to go inside and behind the frame, maybe,
Hmm.
and then see it instead of going out, maybe go deeper inside. We're already there.
Yep.
So maybe we should just go, instead of stepping out while we are there, we can't step out. Maybe we should go further in. Just a thought.
Just a thought. I like that. I like that thought. And on that thought, we have a question. So
Yeah.
earlier, Vidya asked ego in a way. So is self sabotage again connected with ego, and does dominating tendency fall in this as well?
Hi, Vidya. So again, like I said earlier, Vidya and Rukaya, what I was saying in the beginning, this thing of control issue, the control issue, you can call it ego, you can call it dominating. But when we are self-sabotaging, these are just excuses. Ego and dominating behavior is only coming from a space of arrogance. But the way you are asking about ego and dominating thing, I am not seeing it as self-sabotage. It is more about bullying and controlling and things like that. Control, yes, is a very strong part of self-sabotage. But people, depending on what the after, if what is the final result of this ego and this dominating effect, Vidya, is the person being dominating, you or whoever you are referring to? Of course, you're referring to somebody, therefore the questions come up, right? Let's be honest about it.
Yes.
So if this person you are thinking of, or even if it's about you, If this dominating behavior or attitude is coming from an aspect of, let me ruin this with my ego, let me ruin this with my dominating behavior before somebody else can get controlling on me, before somebody else can dominate me, then it is related to self sabotage. Are
Hmm.
you getting me? Do you get that, right? Am I clear enough here on this? Right.
So,
So,
Vidya, type in your comments as we work this with you.
yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it'll help us also to understand better, right? So this is one thing. But if this ego and this dominating attitude behavior is coming from just because I like to dominate, just because I like to control, that is a totally different aspect of ego and control. That is, ego could be coming from fear, dominating could be coming from an inferiority complex of the person, right? So she's saying yes. So this makes sense to you, Vidya? Okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Thanks. Yeah.
So, no, I thought you were going on. You were going to add more
No,
to it.
I just asked, I answered her question, but I would like to go back to this thing because we've only talked about right now, Rukaya, only about the one aspect, uh, which is a reason for self-sabotage that we said right in the beginning about the whole thing of the control issue, right?
Correct.
The other couple of things I must bring to the attention of our viewers, because that is the way they would be able to recognize, right?
Yes, please.
Whether they are self-sabotaging or they know anyone around them, because then we can go into helping these people or helping themselves, whoever is a self-sabotage person. I don't know if you can say self-sabotage. Is there a word like that? I wonder.
Saboteur.
Self-sabotage,
Um, sabot.
saboteur.
Yeah, you saboteurs. So basically, Coach Shirazi talks about self sabotage and positive intelligence. So the saboteur, as well as the judge within us, is the
Hmm.
conversation there. But yes, tell us what you
Yeah, that
have in
sounds
mind.
very interesting already. Okay.
Yes.
Um, so one major reason, guys, for self-sabotage is the lack of self-worth. The lack of self-worth. So we want to suffer so much from, or we do suffer so much from self-worth issues that we want to stop uh, anything that comes in our way for our success. We want to make ourselves unsuccessful because we feel we are not deserving. We haven't earned it. So I'll give you a simple example. Let's say you have been picked up for a fantastic work opportunity, brilliant opportunity. You were dying for it, kind of thing, right? And you were really looking forward. You really worked very hard, got through all the levels of interviews, blah blah blah, got the job. Now, the minute the job comes, you want to run a mile away,
Mm.
not towards the job, but you want to run a mile away from the
Yeah.
situation. Um, and I asked that, what happened? I thought you were super excited. And you said, yes, yes, I was so excited and everything is perfect. But I think the place is so far away from home. I don't think I'm going to go there every day. Damn, really? 2 hours in a train? Impossible. I'm not going to do it. I won't have time for anything else then. Um, or I like everybody else there, but the person who is going to be my immediate person I'm going to be answerable to, I don't like that person. So I think I'm going to give it a miss, right? So, okay. So you can find any number of excuses. You can find any number of things to stop you from doing anything which is for your benefit because you are scared of the fear of failure. You are fearing failure, not scared of the fear of failure, sorry. You are fearing failure. You are saying that, oh my God, this is too good to be true. If I pick up this job and I start going to this fancy office and I have this fancy corner office and all of that, and it's really massive for me and everything, what if I cannot fulfill? Right?
Mm.
What if people start saying, oh my God, we've heard she's done some mistake in the other place she came from? People talk in big offices. What if somebody's talking about me, right? What if the whole see when you get into a position of power, you've got to understand that there's a huge amount of responsibility that's coming with the power. So all that responsibility, oh my God, I don't think I'm going to be able to take it. So what do? I self sabotage by coming in the way of my own intent. Like I said right in the beginning, that's what self sabotage is. Any action that makes you come in the way of your own intent. So your intention was to do very successfully in this new job, but suddenly you're getting cold feet. So
Hmm.
what do? You run away from it by saying, da, 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 da. So I am not even worth it. I don't even think I deserve this, you know. They're going to pay me so
Um,
many.
So yes,
Yeah, go ahead.
you are talking about fear of failure, and whenever someone talks of fear of failure, and I know you know what I'm going to say, I'm going to say fear of success, because some people also have fear of success, and we have
Bilkul.
Srikant here who says circumstances do play right. And Anisha, thank you, says so it's like a defense mechanism to opt out before you fail.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hi, Anisha. Good to see you, darling. Thank you for being here. She is
Yes.
my friend from my NIFT days, my
Ah.
design days from Delhi.
Yes.
Yes. So good. Thank
Lovely.
you for
Thank you for
joining.
joining us.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's a, sorry, I got so excited to see her here. What's the question? It's a self-defense mechanism. Yes.
It's a
Yes,
self
it's a
defense mechanism.
self-defense.
And what
Yeah.
I had asked you was we are addressing fear of failure, but isn't fear of success also another way of self sabotage? Another thing that you hide behind.
That's why I said about this thing that fear of success is major. You're right. And also that's why I said about this whole thing of, oh my God, if I take this up, the amount of responsibility that I will have, everybody will be looking in my direction. Everybody is going to be checking out my performance. How am I doing in this new position? Right? I cannot fail. So because I cannot fail, if I succeed too much also, then everyone is going to be looking up to me. And what if I don't live up to their expectations? So fear of success. Fear of
Hmm.
success, not only in good jobs and all, you know that fear of success is a very big thing in relationships. So the
Hmm.
self-sabotage, when we're talking relationships, we're talking across the board, right? About
Yes.
work,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. So in the space of relationships, this fear of success is a very big thing. I have done it. I can tell you, I am the living example of X. I'm an ex self-saboteur. Saboteur, you said? That's how you pronounce
Saboteur.
it? Okay.
Yes. Saboteur.
Yeah, saboteur, right? So I'm an ex self-saboteur where relationships were concerned. I would be scared of them becoming successful, and then I would have to commit, seriously commit to the relationship, which I was probably not. Well, again, fear of success. I didn't know what if I failed the person later. So let me not make it successful. Let me
Hmm.
run before it can become a beautiful dream. So I was going towards a beautiful dream with XYZ. But then the minute it seemed too beautiful, it's going to be successful. Let me run. I don't want it.
Hmm.
Right? So I've done that. But those were the young days, happy ones. Now I'm happier without it.
Ah, I like that. Those were the happy days, and now I'm happier without them. I love that. So
Yeah,
Vidya says also the fear of what others will think and react if I'm not able to.
exactly. So that comes from the fear of failure also, Vidya, and also from the space of how much responsibility am I being given, which comes with the space, and I am going to be not going to be able to handle the responsibility.
Brilliant.
Okay, so someone,
Yes,
please go ahead.
I think sometimes the fear of success comes from a place of self-doubt, not knowing if you can keep up to the expectation continuously.
Yes, yes, Willie. It does come from a place of self-doubt. So that's what the thing is. Self-doubt is a huge killer. Self-doubt is a huge killer. Um, I have lived to tell the tale here also, but whatever. I think self-doubt is something that, so self-doubt can be looked in two ways, but we're not talking about self-doubt today, but it can be looked in two ways. It can either be the thing that can become the booster behind you to push you forward sometimes, that I doubt myself, therefore I want to improve myself, therefore I will do better. But in this case of self sabotage, honestly, yes, self sabotage is self doubt is a dampener.
Hmm.
It does not let you move forward at all. It creates so many blocks in your way forward that you are pushed to believe that you are not good enough. You are pushing yourself down to say, I don't deserve it. What have I done to earn this? What have I
Hmm.
done to deserve it? Um, so I am going to make sure that I don't succeed.
Hmm.
I don't deserve it,
Okay.
right? That's what happens.
Hmm. And we spoke about identifying patterns and then breaking them, right? Because self sabotage is obviously a pattern. But how do you
Mhm.
identify a pattern and not be judgmental about it?
You will be judgmental about it. Sorry, I'm just pouring myself some water.
Yes,
Of
please.
course, you'll be judgmental about it. We're humans.
Hmm.
We are humans, and ow, sorry, we are humans, and we are going to judge ourselves. We don't consider ourselves God, though we say that we are particles of
Part of
God
God. Yeah.
and all of that. Yeah, part of God and all that. We say that, but we don't trust it. We don't believe it. So judging ourselves does come in when we look at our patterns, but then that's what awareness does for you, Ruqaya. If we start becoming aware, then we can start looking at ourselves. Okay, fine. So I have these problems. I give this example a lot in my self-love talks and all of that also, Ruqaya, that
Yes.
how can I judge myself? How can I judge myself when so guys, those of us who judge ourselves for anything, whether it's because we are following patterns, because we are being told that we are horrible people, if we are being told we are not worth it, if we are being told like the world around us is saying all of that, and that makes us more self-judgmental, honestly, rather than we ourselves. We are always seeking validation from the outside. The minute we start seeking validation from the outside, we are going to feel judged,
Hmm.
right? Either you can stop looking for validation, then you're in a very cool place.
Hmm.
Then I'm sitting on my throne and say, you know what? I really don't care what the world says. I live my life like that, by the way. I always
Yeah.
say it doesn't matter to me what you think, right? You could say anything about me, but if I know myself, I know it is the untruth that you're speaking. मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. It doesn't matter to me. But when we are always looking for validation, we are always going to be feeling judged. Now, a very nice thing, tell yourself, guys, whoever is feeling judged, please tell yourself, the sun that shines. Okay, I'm going to go a little philosophical, a little spiritual, but then that's the thing I tell myself. When you look at the sun, it's shining bright. Rukaya already knows what I'm going to say. It it does
It's
not say,
beautiful. Yes.
so it does not say that I am not going to shine on Tashi because she's not pretty enough, or I am not going to shine on XYZ because that person is not talented enough, or I am not going to shine on so and so because they're not wealthy enough, or they are not intelligent enough, or they have a crooked nose, or they have small eyes, or they have red hair. I don't care, right? But the sun will shine because it just shines, right? It does what it does because that's what it's best at doing. That's what it's meant to do, right? So, how can we also not be like the sun? Why shouldn't we be like the sun? Right? Why can't we be? We are also part of the same nature, we're part of the same universe. Guys, if this is very heavy and spiritual for you, I am sorry, but then that's the
No,
only
no,
way
no.
I understand life, right? So all I'm saying is that start looking at yourselves every day, because we were not going to talk about all this, but I'm going to say this, going on to that track, that stand in this, in front of the mirror every day, give yourself a big hug and say, I'm the best person that ever happened in my life,
Ooh, I
right?
like
Just
that.
say that to yourself, right? I am the best person that happened in my life.
Guys, type it
Stop
in.
judging yourself.
Let's make that affirmation an announcement. I am the best person that happened in my life. And as you type that in, I'm going to go to two questions that came in. Kosaji asks, so am I breaking it consciously? Am I breaking a pattern consciously? And that is also Shrikant's question. And and here's what she also added. She says the sun says I'm not going to shine on them because they're already shining too much. Yeah.
Well, that is something the sun and I talk about.
Ah.
We always talk about it and say, is it you who's shining more or me? But then I said, you know what?
Mm.
I've learned to keep shining from you. So I'll give it to you. Maybe the sun, you shine more. It's okay.
Mm.
I'll let the sun take this one. But what was Kausal's and Srikant's question there? Are we breaking it
Um,
consciously? What is that?
yeah. So,
Not
am
breaking
I
a car.
not breaking a pattern? I'm asking, breaking it consciously. So, breaking what consciously? Because as you have to be a little reminders what you're talking about. And you know what? The first affirmation that has come in is from Vidya, and I like this. I am. Thank you, Vidya. I am the best thing that has happened in my life. Indeed, you are, my friend. Uh,
Absolutely, absolutely, you are. We all are. You, fantastic. Thank you for accepting it. Do I break my own success of a job or a relationship consciously? Yes. Yes, you do when you are going through a pattern of self sabotage. Only then, right? Because okay. So when we were talking of one thing was the control issue, Rokaya, we started with, then we were talking about self worth. And now another reason, because Kausar asked this thing right now, this question, another reason why we do this is from our memory of past experiences. Another reason why we self sabotage, right? So when she's saying that, do I spoil my job opportunity or a relationship opportunity? Yes, from past experiences, when self sabotage is fueled. See, self sabotage, like I said, can be fueled by your self worth issues, it can be fueled by your control issues. Another reason is past experiences. So, you may have had an experience in the past in a relationship where you were treated unfairly, where you were being bullied, where you were being pushed around, where you were not respected. So, suddenly, when the universe gives you a beautiful new relationship, somehow you saved yourself, good karma. You saved yourself, you left that relationship, you got your, act together, you left it, and you, for the very reason of love alone, you get into a new relationship. And here you realize that this relationship is too good to be true. It is just so loving. There is only love, there is only understanding. Things that you were always seeking out in those 30 other relationships of your life that you've been through, suddenly this one is just what you wanted, right from the word go. Okay? It's perfect. Deep down, you know it, right? The heart beats in a different way, and you
yeah.
know it. But your past experience will make you sabotage that.
Hmm.
You are consciously going to make sure it doesn't work because you're coming from a space of, it has happened before to me that the relationship started out right, sorry. How can it be so right? It's
Hmm.
not possible. It can't be so right. I'm sure something is going to happen. Abhi kuch hoega. Arey, 5 months gone, beautiful. I'm waiting, it's going to happen. I'm waiting, it's going to happen. 5 years down the line, oh my God, it still hasn't happened. Now, though, it must happen,
It's like we're
right?
literally waiting for that tipping point to happen. And then when it happens, we're like, we prove
Exactly.
ourselves right. That, oh, see, I
Of
knew
course.
this would happen. I always said it. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that comes from the control thing also, that I control how my relationships work. So I
yeah.
control that they do not work. I
Hmm.
am the controlling factor here, that they will not work.
Okay. So, Kosaji says, that's what I'm saying precisely. If it's coming from a past trauma, then I am not breaking it consciously now. It's
No,
from a
listen, so you're not
subconscious space.
breaking. Yes, 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 but we have to start. Kosar, you are saying this, but we
No,
have to.
I'm sure she's saying this so that she creates the awareness. She's flowing with
Yeah, of
us.
course, that's her. That's
Yes.
why I know, yeah, knowing her and knowing me, okay. So, yes, we're doing it. We're not, what is the thing? We're not doing it subconsciously, or we are doing it
Yeah, wait.
subconsciously.
So that's where even I was confused as you were saying. Arey, I'm asking. Okay, you're asking. Even I was going to ask her. Ki, bhai, it starts off unconsciously, right? It starts off as if we were to go into the terminology of it, it's your reticular articular system that is saying ki nahi, uh, don't do this because it could go back bad. And I like what Sonia says. She says it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yes,
Prophecy.
Yes.
Absolutely, it is.
So does it starts from subconscious, and then when you're constantly doing the same thing, then it becomes a conscious thing, right? Is that what you're telling?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It starts subconsciously because you're not even aware that you are the damager,
Hmm.
right? It becomes so much of a pattern, going back to what you were saying right in the beginning, it becomes so much of a pattern that then we don't even realize it. वो आपके रग रग में बस जाता है. It gets inside of you. But then the trick is later, I was going to talk about it later, but it's come now, so it's perfect. We're just jumping a little ahead. Um, Self awareness is the key here. The more you become aware that, yes, like I said earlier also, you start watching that why is this pattern repeating itself? Why am I going back and forth in the same space like a yo yo? It gets exhausting.
Yes.
See,
There you
there you
there
go.
you,
I'm not. Am
there
I
you
being
go.
tested here, Miss Costa Sultana? I look after you after this.
Okay,
We
guys.
need to talk,
So
babe.
so
We
so
need to
in
talk.
so Kasaji and Tashi have this amazing work that they do called the Revive Collective, and they have amazing conversation. Guys, if you haven't followed them already on Instagram, why are you living under a rock? So yes, we've got Pooja who's watching.
Hi, Pooja. How are you?
Hi, Pooja, and we have Kasaji who is.
Yeah, whatever. Defending herself. I'll take care of her later. Carry on. Hmm.
Okay, so we are constantly living in autopilot, right?
Hmm.
So something that I was speaking about earlier today on my daily life was very interesting, because what I spoke about is, and I forget now in all the confusion. One second. So when you're hungry, you get distracted, is what I said.
Hmm.
And I'm not just talking about feeling physically hungry and hunger cramps. What I'm saying is,
Obviously.
when you are creating that fire of success, when you're hungry for
For anything.
anything,
Anything.
anything for that matter, is when you get distracted. Otherwise, you're living your life like that. You're focused, you're living one way, you've got the blinders on, and that's how you're living it. So how do you then s- break the pattern and get out of that, um, the way of being? How do you then take control, and from self sabotage to self development or self mastery, how do you journey there?
One thing, again, I am repeating, I'm sorry if it sounds repetitive, but
No.
there are some very few simple tools, guys, whoever's listening here. There are some very few but very simple tools that we all already have. And one of the biggest tools I have realized over my, well, now almost 18, 19 years of doing my work is that self conscious awareness is the
Mm,
key. I say this to everyone in all my sessions. Self conscious awareness. Start watching yourself. You know what I used to do, Rukaya? I used to, and I sometimes, well, now I don't need to do it all the time because I'm already always in awareness. I actually created an imaginary hawk, like an eagle hawk, the bird hawk,
mm, yep.
right? And hawks are supposed to have very, very sharp vision, right? They're
Mm,
known for their vision. So they say hawk's eye, they say a hawk's vision.
yes,
Those
yes.
are terminologies used. So I literally created an imaginary hawk who I said is always watching me.
Mm,
Okay, this hawk is always sitting here and is watching me. I had no photograph, I had no painting, nothing, nothing. Just an imaginary hawk from here is sitting here who is watching Tashi 24/7.
mm,
Every thought, every word, every action, every feeling, every emotion was being watched by this hawk's eye. Okay, that way. So, in the sense, like if I was doing something to ruin my chances, if I was going into the self sabotage mode, it would say, okay, so that's where you want to go, huh? That's the path we're taking. Okay, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this, that kind of a thing. If I was giving some kind of gyan, some kind of spiel to somebody, and I myself was not following it, it would come back and say, really? Have you heard it yourself? Do you follow that? Okay. So That is one simple tool that works, guys, is self-conscious awareness. Create an imaginary hawk, if you will, but I promise you that's going to help you because you are always aware of every thought, word, action. It's not going to be easy, but
Hmm.
it's not completely impossible. Remember, healing out of a self sabotage situation is not impossible. A very interesting thing I was reading the other day was to rewire your brain.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
for example, you must be aware of it, Rukaya,
Yes.
obviously,
Yes.
because you work with so many different people and all of that. So, rewiring your brain is a very good technique. So, what does that mean, guys? It means that you, so for example, in childhood, when a child is hungry and is throwing a tantrum and all of that, the parent feeds the child gets happy, satiated, and then keeps quiet. Now, as this child grows up, the brain is getting wired, right? There's this pattern,
Yes.
rewiring. The wiring that is happening is all about, okay, every time I cry for something, I get it. And then I feel good about it. So whether it's love, whether it's food, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's anything at all, they are the ones who become bullies as they grow up. They are the ones who become the dominating people. They are the ones who know how to get their way through crying, jumping around, doing whatever. So you have wired that in your brain synapse, so to say, if you can call it that, right?
Yeah.
Now you realize that you are self sabotaging. So, because of the awareness trick, because you are watching yourself with awareness all the time, you have realized, oh my God, I am following this pattern of self sabotage. Now I need to rewire my brain.
Hmm.
So, you have to start imagining instead of the worst case scenario. Therefore, you scoot from there. Now, think of the best case scenario.
Hmm.
If you start thinking of the best case scenario and say, let me imagine myself being extremely fantastic at this new job. Let me imagine myself being so happy in this new relationship. I am looking gorgeous. I am feeling content. I am making so much money. I am being awarded and rewarded for the great work I am doing. You have to start rewiring your brain and then you will start moving toward that direction,
Hmm.
right? So that's another simple tool is rewiring your brain. And you, okay, so one solution is of course therapists like ourselves, the way we
Yeah.
work with people, right? But
Yes.
I think if you pay attention, if you become aware, a lot of the work is going to be done by you. And even when you go to therapists, let me be honest, unless it's a medical clinical psychiatrist, no offense meant to them. I have deep respect for all people who are healers in any form, right? But yes, you might be given medications, you might be given different kind of techniques. But I find that self work, working on self, is the best form of healing. You need a hand holding, kind of support system, which mentors like us are. And so you will get a lot of support, but major काम आपको खुद करना है.
True.
I can come and give you the food. I can put it even inside your mouth, but the chewing I cannot do. Okay, if I love you too much, I will chew the food and then put in your mouth. But then you still have to swallow it. It's your stomach that has to digest it. I cannot digest it for you, right? So you have to make the effort. Once your intent is made, so what is self sabotage? What we said in the beginning is you coming in the way of your own intent. But if
Yeah.
your intent is made that I am going to heal out of this situation, you shall, and so it is, right? So
Yeah.
that's
So we've got Pooja who says I'm lacking self-worth. So is there something that we can do to kind of deal with that?
sweetie, self worth is coming because the lack of self worth, rather, is coming because I spoke about it earlier in this today's evening's thing with Rukaya itself that it's coming from a space of seeking validation from the outside world, holding on to what others have said about you in the past. Right from childhood, if you have been told that the other sibling or that cousin or that friend or that one in the family or outside is more intelligent than you, is more pretty than you, is more wealthy than you, blah, blah, blah. then you start feeling, oh, that means I am nothing. You start living your life only based on approvals from others. That's where the first germ, seed, virus of the lack of self-worth gets implanted there, right? And then this virus grows and it grows and it grows like there's no tomorrow. But guess what? The vaccine for that, the antidote for that, is understanding that you do not live this life for others. Do others come to your rescue? When you want something, the ones you trust the most are the first ones to run away from you. Sorry to say, fact of life, right?
Effective life.
But yeah, it happens, the fact of life. And we're not 5 years old. We ought to understand this is what life is, right? But you, each one for themselves. That's what we are here for, each one for them, for ourselves. So when you live like that, when you want to create a certain reality for yourself, learn to live life on your own terms. Stop asking people, so how do I look today? How am I? What am I going to eat today? Are you eating this? Then I will eat this. Will you wear this? Then I will wear that. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You've got to understand that self-worth comes from a space of, I am perfect the way I am. The day you start believing that, Pooja, you will be fine. Otherwise,
Hmm.
there'll be a lot of chopping and changing to do. And I give this example that if I've got a burn or a hurt on my hand, I will not cut my hand off. Yes, Srikant, self-love, self-worth, self-love, everything is one and the same thing. But, well, similar, same thing. But you can't, I'm not going to chop my hand off just because it's wounded. I'm going to look after it. I'm going to make sure it's healed and all of that. So, what if I have so many flaws and imperfections? I am perfect the way I am, even with my imperfections. I love myself so much that it doesn't matter to me what the whole world thinks. Pooja, start thinking like that, and I promise you, your self worth will come running back to you, and it's all yours.
And this beautifully segues us into the next question. Can perfectionism lead to self sabotage? Thank you for that question. I'm sure it's going to help so many.
Very nice, Prasad. Excellent question, no doubt. Okay,
Who just says true.
yes. Perfectionism leads to self sabotage. Yes, the need for perfectionism, not perfectionism itself. Thanks, Prasad. Yeah, so not perfectionism itself. Perfectionism itself is, how would I say, is relative. Perfectionism is relative. What is perfect for you may not be perfect for me. My perfection is wearing a combination of orange with navy, right? Your perfection would be navy with gray. Who knows, right? So our perceptions of perfectionism are very varied, and each one is perfect in their own way. Like what we talk about, Rukaya, we always talk about the truth,
Yeah.
right? Everyone's truth is truth, right? What is the absolute truth? My truth is my absolute truth. Your truth is your absolute truth, right? So perfectionism similarly is something that is specific to the person wanting it, desiring it, working towards it. Does it lead to self sabotage? Yes, very much so, if you are going to get obsessed by it.
Hmm.
If you're going to get obsessed by perfectionism, then you are setting yourself up for failure, right? There is nothing as perfectionism. Perfectionism for the sake of perfectionism. I want to prove to my boss, to my lover, to my spouse, to my best friend, to the whole world watching me that I am this perfect being and I'm not flawed. I am definitely set for failure. I will slip up somewhere. And before I slip up, I may want to kill myself because, oh my God, that's going to be huge, huge damage to my ego, to my self-worth. So I may as well not go there. Let me create my own set of perfectionism so it does not take me towards self sabotage. And once I've created my own little box of perfectionism according to me, I am not going to fail. I am not going to kill myself because I'm very happy in that space, which is mine. Then why would I want to kill it?
Okay.
Does that
And
answer your question, Prasad?
yes, Prasad, let us know if it answers your question. And I'm going to ask you one. So we right now we're looking at uh, other people and how they view us. Now let's take the conversation and turn the mirror inwards. What about those expectations that we keep for ourselves, of ourselves? Um, you
Mm.
know, so expectations, do they that we have of ourselves, does that also lead to self sabotage?
Expectations that we have from ourselves, does that also lead to self-sabotage? Hmm. I like the way you make me think.
Thank you.
So, yes, it can. It can. You know what I'm doing here, guys? Just for your information, I am not trying to get intuitive things that I do all the time. That, okay, let me get a download like this. No, I wasn't doing that for a change. I wasn't seeking a download. I was actually going into my life because you started this thing with, let's go inwards a little bit,
Yeah.
right? So, who better than me going inwards in myself instead of just talking outward, right? So, when I'm going inside myself, yes, my own expectations from self can create a situation where I may experience or bring about self sabotage because I have a certain way I want to look, I have a certain way I want to seem to
Mm,
myself, to myself, not to the world. The world is seeing me the way I am, it doesn't matter. Well, to some people it does, but we're talking about going
ourselves,
inward now.
yeah,
So
inward.
if I, right, so if you're going inwards, I was always this very happy person, and today, if I am not happy, why am I not happy? What is happiness to me? If all my relationships were always successful, now my relationships are all failures. If all my jobs were all great paying jobs and so much respect, suddenly I have lost track of what I'm doing with my career, so I am losing it all. My expectation from myself, I have failed myself,
Mm,
right? I have not lived up to my own expectation. I have failed myself. I used to keep myself on a pedestal here. And now I have realized over the years I'm coming down the steps and I have reached a low level. Now my expectations from self have damaged my self belief, my self
mm.
worth. It's got damaged here. Now it is too tedious. So this is all imaginary situation I'm creating here
Yes,
for all of
yes.
us to understand, right? So now I am feeling that, oh my God, I'm already 50 plus. Now it's going to be too difficult for me to rebuild all of that.
Mm,
Who's going to help me now? Who's going to give me another job at 52? Who's going to give me another job? Who's going to look up to me anymore? I was there. I have fallen. Now what do I do? So what do? I actually go around ruining my reputation. I actually go around doing things wrong so that I can blame the rest of the world. That it's not happening because, they don't know my worth anymore. They don't know what it is to be who I am or who I was. And guys, it's very interesting that this has come up. Um, so there was a very well-known uh, teacher of mine at one point, and I met him a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Um, Very well known. Oh, well known and how. Beautiful man, very talented. And now when I meet him, he had lived his golden years, right, and crashed.
mm,
And he reached out to me. I took him around to introduce him to people who would be able to help him. So I take him around. They were totally enamored and said, "Oh my God, we would love to have him join our team." He was kicked about it. He said, "Wow, this is so good. I'm so grateful to you that I'm finally getting an opportunity to relive my glory." And can you believe it? It just came to me. I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to say all this, but it just came to me, so I had to share it now,
yes, yes.
right? And he starts the work that I helped him get the opportunities, starts it beautifully. Within 6 months, now I'm pinning it at self sabotage here because within 6 months, he left. He started blaming them and said they did not have respect for me and they didn't do this and they didn't do that for me. And so I spoke to those people and they said, no, but this was his attitude problem. He was behaving like this and we couldn't deal with it. I got him another place, same story. I got him a
Mm,
third place, same story. And then I stepped back And then I stepped back because that person was only in that space of, I have seen it all. I have been so glorious, right? I have been so successful. And now my I am not able to live up to my own expectations. So before I fail in the eyes of the others, I might as well step back and say, you're not good enough for me anymore.
Hmm.
But the real deal here is that I am not able to live up to my expectations. And that is self sabotage.
So, what I'm hearing you say is, and I hope you guys can hear me. So, what I'm hearing you say is that we don't
Hmm.
respond or react to what is happening to us, but we respond to our perception of what has happened to us, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, very rightly put, Rukaya. We respond to the perception of who we think we are and what we think is happening to us.
Hmm.
Perceptions are a very funny thing.
It's
The
like a
problem
lens that
comes
you
in
wear.
this that yeah, right. And if I am not living my life according to my lens that I can see myself with, then I'm obviously living my life according to the lens that you are showing me to see through. And that is the problem. I should
Hmm.
have my own lens. I should have my own views. Why should I live with your views and your lens?
But what if we're afraid to look through our own lenses and have been always taught to look through another person's lens? Like growing up, we've been conditioned to think in a particular way. We haven't been given the liberty to make our own choices, our own decisions. We've always looked at somebody else to validate and to make the choices for us. So, how do you then start taking those baby steps to building your eyesight?
What is the keyword you just used? You
I
just said it
don't. Building your eyesight.
just before that.
Validation. You're constantly looking at somebody else to make your decisions. Hey
Baby
bhagwan.
steps, baby steps, baby
Oh,
steps. फेल हो गए तुम फेल हो गए चलो हम I
that was that
invalidate you
was for
now. Now your
that
life is
was for
over.
you. That was for you to do. That's why I didn't want to take it up. There she goes. She steps
Now your
in.
life is
Guess who stepped in?
now you're of course. जी गुरु जी.
Wait. We've got a few. We've got
So
a few comments that came in. Just give me a moment. Guys, we are nearing the hour. So if you are having fun and if you would like Tashi to stick around for a little bit more time than the 1 hour that she has so graciously granted us, please type in a yes or give us some love so that we know that this will be worth your time if we extend a little bit. And even before that, Tashi, is it okay with you if we extend past the hour? I know it's getting late for you in India, but
are you giving me a choice? You're not. So I'm really having a lot of fun. I'm very happy here. Thank you.
I am having fun too. It's
Matlab,
like I don't even.
just imagine me. No, no, I'll go into self-sabotage mode and say, you guys are horrible. You don't like me anymore. I'm leaving because I don't have much to give after this. So that's self-sabotage. No, I'm not. I'm not self-sabotaging. I'm right here.
Yes.
If you guys are having fun, hello, Umana. Umana has joined us from Maldives.
Ooh, thank you for joining us. And sorry, we
Yes.
had to keep your love waiting because Tashi was looking at lots of important things, and I had to kind of wait until we could share your love with her. And we've got Srikant who says, yes, I didn't see that there is a
Need
need
part. You're
part.
fabulous,
You
dear.
fabulous tea. Yes, you are. So insightful, you
Thank you.
guys. And Prasad Code
Thank you.
says, yes, I agree. Expecting being obsessed to be perfect can lead to self sabotage only if we can't work on continuous, incremental self improvement towards our definition of perfection. I like this. Yes, baby steps
Exactly.
once
I
again.
like this.
Yes, and we've got
Yeah.
Eva who says, hey ladies, loving this interview. Speaking of self love, I'm wondering if self sabotage is a form of self love. I like that, with the intent to
I
protect
love
oneself.
this.
Yeah. How does one correct that thinking pattern? Thank you for that question, Eva.
Very good. Very good.
And we have
Eves,
already
Eves
got
Taba. Okay.
Eva. Um, yes, Tashi, please continue. It's always a delight to listen to you. Thank you. We've just got one
Thank
person
you.
saying yes. Oh God, nobody else is saying. Oh yes, we've got more people saying yes. We've got Vidya. Look at us asking for more comments to come in. So yes, so address this. Whichever one you would like to take first, mine or Eva's question.
First, Eva's question. So just
Yes,
repeat that
please.
for me, please. I'm sorry,
Yes.
just repeat it.
No, 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 please. Here it is. And great question, Eva, really. Self love.
I'm wondering if
If,
self-sabotage is a form of with the intent to protect self. Yes, 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 yes,
yes.
yes, yes. Um, so, Eva, mm, somebody else had also said this thing earlier. It's like I think Anisha Set has said.
No,
Thank you,
so
thank
basically,
you.
I had asked you some time back about the comfort zone and staying
No, no,
inside and
no. Anisha
protecting
had said
ourselves.
about the self-defense. No, Anisha had said earlier that is it a self-defense mechanism?
One sec, let me
You know,
scroll up.
wasn't there a conversation?
Uh,
There was some conversation about that. That is it a self-defense mechanism? So to protect your self-love,
there
we
you go.
tend to, yeah, it's like a yeah, yeah. So that's about okay. That's about failing. Uh, put back Eva's question for me, please.
Yes, yes, I will.
It's too wordy, so it's a little wordy. Sorry, Eva. It's
No,
just
no, it's all right.
wordy. Therefore, I'd like to, yeah, keep it on the screen for some time for me, please.
Yes, please.
Thank
Yes.
you. It is a form of self-love with the intent to protect oneself. Yes, it is, and it shouldn't be. We are using self-love as, how should I use the word? What word should I choose? We're using it like a crutch. We're using it like a placebo. We're using self-love as a placebo when we are popping that pill and saying, "Oh, I'm only giving, I'm only loving myself because nobody else loves me, or I'm only loving myself because I've got to protect myself from the world or what the world is doing to me, or whatever." But remember that you are self-sabotaging because you are not willing to experience life to its fullest. You are not willing to experience every experience to its fullest. You are going into a space of self pity. You're calling it self love, but you are going into a mode of self victimization. You're going into a mode of self pity. And you may say that I am protecting myself by only loving myself and all of that. But remember, it's just another name for self sabotage.
Hmm.
It's just another name. You're being a victim here. You're trying to be the poor me, the poor me. And when the poor me syndrome comes, it is a form of self sabotage because you're refusing to take any action to move forward, not even baby steps. You are not willing to move forward and heal the situation, and therefore you are self sabotaging. How does one, I hope that answers that part of the question, Eva. How does one correct that thinking pattern? Number one, like I said, the only key, self-conscious awareness. Start recognizing your patterns. Maybe journaling would help, Eva. Maybe journaling would help. Put down even the thoughts that cross. Doesn't have to be only the experiences that you have with the lack of self-love or whatever. Even the thoughts that you have about yourself, not what others are saying about you. What is your thought about yourself? What is your opinion about yourself? For the want of a better word, I'm using the word opinion, but that's not exactly where I'm coming from, right? What is it that you think about your looks? What is it that you think about your um, eating patterns? What is it that you think about your talents? What is it that you think about your professionalism or your professional attitude or whatever, right? I'll come to that. I'll come to that. And so, whenever you are journaling all of this, this would work as a great tool for you. This would work as a great tool for you to reinstate the power of self faith inside of you so that you can truly love yourself and not use that poor me victim kind of mode then. When you start journaling and writing your own good points and everything and accepting yourself for who you are, it'll automatically come that you will start seeing that you don't need to hide behind the cover of being a victim or hide behind this blanket of I am not good enough and therefore I should, I don't deserve it, therefore I don't deserve this or don't deserve that. Yeah, does that make sense?
Hmm.
Um, Fear of being vulnerable. What about this? Why am I doing this? Is that what she's asking?
I guess so. Eva, stage is yours. Leave us a comment so that we know where you're coming from with this question. Um, here's a added support. Please, in your journaling, you can ask self-exploratory questions. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I said, no? That once you start journaling, yeah, good point, Kausar. Like even Ruqayya in our earlier evening session, when Ruqayya was saying that it always helps to answer questions. Questions do matter, right? So asking the right kind of questions, yeah. So Kausar is saying, yeah, if it becoming a
So,
question, suddenly someone, no, 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 yes, absolutely, yes, yes, yes.
so being vulnerable, is that
Ah,
where this is coming from?
Yeah, so being feeling vulnerable, see, when we feel vulnerable, again, please understand, why are you, now we're going really deep, huh? Why are you feeling
and i
vulnerable?
wouldn't ha- and I
Are
wouldn't
you,
have it anyway. Sorry to interrupt you, but what's the
yeah,
what's the
please.
what's I mean, having you over here and then upar say to kind of just, that's not it. We're not here because of that. We know how deep you can go and we're all for it, because that's why we've gathered,
Hmm,
because we know the kind of value you're going to bring
yeah.
to us. So let's go as deep as we want.
No, no, I think the value is added one with your intent to have this talk, and major value, massive value is being added by all these beautiful people who've joined
Exactly.
us, because if it wasn't for you I wouldn't have answers, right? There would be
Exactly.
no questions and therefore there would be no answers. So
Absolutely.
gratitude, thank you for coming up with such
Very.
interesting questions.
Yes.
So is that where this is coming from, the fear of vulnerability, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes. So what's happening here, Eba, when we go a little, okay, let's peel the onion a little more. Let's go one layer deeper now. We're really getting to the core now. And it's going to get stinky, okay? It's going to get stinky. The deeper you go,
Eyes,
with the onion,
eyes might water.
eyes might water. Yes. They should actually. It's a good thing. Um, we fear being vulnerable because we will be exposed, forget about the world, but we will be exposed to ourselves. We will be exposed to ourselves. We have become so adept, so perfect at living our lives so efficiently, right? That we cover up our failures through beautiful modes of self sabotage. We cover our failures and our lack of self worth through being over arrogant, right? We can play a lot of games. We are perfect players. We are players, right? But the minute we feel that we are going to be exposed and become vulnerable, we run in the opposite direction and dumping the blame on the circumstances, dumping the blame on other people. I think it's high time. It's high time to accept that, yes, I am vulnerable and there is nothing wrong with it. Because the minute I expose myself to myself, right, I would be able to take out the right amount of juice from myself. I will be able to taste my own nectar. I would be able to smell my own fragrance. I would see the best version of myself, right? But if I'm going to keep hiding that, oh my God, I'm worried I will be labeled vulnerable, or I will be trapped into vulnerability, or I would be trapped into somebody else's games. You don't need somebody else's games to get trapped in. You're playing enough games yourself. So why blame somebody else, right? So it's good to be vulnerable. Let's not fear vulnerability. Let's expose ourselves. Let's all get naked. Let's all get naked. I think it's a good thing. Yeah.
Definitely. And that's another one. Fill your own cup and then let the overflow help others. Can this be a mantra to avoid self sabotage?
No, this is a mantra to avoid lack of self love. Always fill up your own cup and then let the overflow help others. Good point, Prasad. But self sabotage is not connected to just this. Self sabotage is you might be doing this, you might be giving a lot more of yourself, or letting the overflow being sent to other people, and then not drawing boundaries. See, again, we're going in another place, but then not drawing boundaries and then doing all of that, and that would lead to self sabotage. Forget anything else. You're probably walking towards self sabotage by doing this. So it's good to give of yourself. It's good even to let the overflow reach other people, but then again, you need to understand the power of boundaries. But then that's for another day.
Yes, it is.
We talk about
Um,
boundaries another day.
yes. So vulnerability is not a weakness. It actually takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable to self or others. Thank you, Kosaji, for that.
Exactly, cause. Thank you, cause. Hmm.
It's interesting. And speaking of vulnerabilities, in fact, just 2 days ago, one my quote was, "Vulnerability is pure strength." And the conversation was again about how it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable, to just expose yourself as you are, raw, broken, tattered, flawed, as you are. So so at one
Hmm.
end we're talking about exposing yourself, being vulnerable, and being kind to yourself as well. uh,
Yeah.
yes, my mic is not working. Okay, let's do this and see
But
what
this is
happens.
working. I can
So,
hear you very clearly.
yes, but Kosaji can't hear me, so I'm just going to walk closer into the system, and hopefully she can. It's better. So,
Okay.
so at one end we're talking about vulnerability, being naked, being exposing ourselves for who we are, and we're talking about kindness, because the conversation also revolves around being kind to yourself for having those emotions or
Yeah.
having those fears, right? But then you're also looking at self sabotage and saying, this is also me. So, where is that fine line, if at all? Um,
Very, very good point. Uh, there is when are you saying something else? Sorry, did I
no,
interrupt
no,
you?
I'm just asking about
Okay.
the fine line between
Yeah.
acknowledging your feelings and then also self sabotage, which is also your feeling.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So when we are looking at the healing aspect of self-sabotage, see, one thing is recognizing it, coming into awareness of it, right? We were earlier in between, then we veered off wherever we are right now. But
Yeah.
earlier we were speaking of how do we heal from this kind of a situation, right? And then we were talking about rewiring your brain, rewiring your thoughts, all of that. The other one method, so self awareness ho gaya, rewiring ho gaya, seeking help from therapists, and talking to people and all of that. Being vulnerable is a very good tool to heal. But along with vulnerability, like you said, Rukaya, comes being kind to self.
Hmm.
Next time, I'll put it very simply, very simply. I love this part of this healing. I think in my self care, self love talk that I was giving earlier, one of my lives on that Sunday,
Yes, yes,
which I did
yes.
on Ashtar Tashi, right, on self love. I had actually created something, and I think I had put that question in the end of the talk then also, and I'm bringing it here again. When you are in a state, you are recognizing your patterns, when you're in the state of recognizing your pattern of self sabotage. Number one, it cannot be healed overnight. It's taken so many years for the pattern to get set into you, right? If you are looking at a stone which has some etching done on it, which is done over years and years and years, you want to re etch it to a new pattern. you're going to have to chamfer that stone. You're going to have to
Yeah.
sandpaper it so much, so much, so much that the stone becomes smooth again. And then you can recarve into it. So, same way, the patterns have been so deeply etched inside you, it's going to take a long time. So, one thing is have a lot of patience with yourself, guys. When you're working with healing self sabotage, patience is one thing. It's not going to happen overnight. Number two, show yourself some love, show yourself some kindness, treat yourself. That's what I'm coming to, what I always say in my self-love talks, that imagine that you are a 5 or a 6 or a 7 year old child. Talk to yourself as if you were that child, right? Talk to yourself with that much love. Do you think that's possible? You think you can do that? Because you have come to a place of self-sabotage all these years. You have come this far into this unhappy place because you did not talk to yourself. You were always beating yourself up. And to avoid getting beaten up by the others, you run before anyone else can attack you. You've been doing that. You've been doing that all your life. What if you stop running, take a deep breath, stand where you are, and talk to yourself as if you were a 5 or 6 or 7 year old boy or girl?
Okay. What just happened? Um, guys, stay with me. I think. Okay, she's back. You're back.
What happened here? You
I
sent me
don't know.
off.
No, I didn't. I don't know what happened.
Okay, okay, don't worry. Kidding. So, and it wasn't my self-sabotage behavior, by the way. I did not run away.
No,
Just
I'm
letting you
sure
know.
you didn't.
Okay.
It was probably the 5 or 6 year old being naughty.
I think so, yeah, possible. That's possible.
Huh.
So the 5 or 6 or 7 year old, that is who you have to become. How would you talk to a child of that age? The child does not know any better. The child is throwing a tantrum or is, according to you, misbehaving. It's actually just doing what it deems right at that moment in that age. So if you start looking at yourself in that, with that much gentleness, with that much compassion, with that much love, that is what is going to heal. And suddenly, when we are all adults, sorry, when we're all adults, we all want to talk about self love, right? It's a favorite topic, self love. But I think if all of us start looking at yourself as a 6 or 7 year old, maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll help. It's taken me a very, very long time. I still fall into that pattern of not loving myself, even after so many years. But I do. I remind myself. I have some beautiful friends in my life, some beautiful people who love me so much that they actually remind me how special I am. And you need blessings like that. So
Absolutely.
find your people, find your tribe, guys. That's another help. That's another help. It's not a part of my notes, sorry, but I'm just saying I think one thing that will help us all is find your tribe. Move away from the fake, go for the original stuff,
True.
including friends.
Absolutely. And this is what these conversations are all about. It's about bringing in subject experts from what I like to call my circle of genius. You know,
I love
your
that word. I love that
thank
circle
you.
of genius. It sounds, you actually, I have to tell you this. When I read that circle of genius, and then when you invited me for this, sorry guys, I'm interrupting Rukaya, but sorry. But
No,
all I'm saying is that, you know, for me, it felt like a privilege that, wow, I am a part of someone's circle of genius. What more could I ask for? That means I have something of value to offer, which is being recognized, and I am so willingly, happily sharing it with you guys. So thank you.
thank you.
Carry on. Say what you're
and
saying.
and the thing and the thing about the circle of genius is each week it creates a ripple effect. Every person who comes in brings in their wisdom, and then we kind of work through this conversation, and then the people who listen add, and it's like this chain that happens. So it's, as you rightfully said, if the questions weren't there, if we didn't have the listeners and the questions, this conversation wouldn't be as powerful and insightful as it
Yeah.
has beautifully come together. So thank you. Um,
You know that the devotee makes the god.
oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Thank you. So, any closing comments, knowing that it's almost an hour and a half into the conversation?
Wow.
We could go on forever, but
Yeah, yeah.
just
But
as,
yeah,
as
we need to, yeah. I think no, what I think we have spoken about everything that needs to be spoken here. Um, all I would say is that please start seeing yourself a little more um, with a little more, how would you say, not clarity. I want to say that start looking at your genuine self.
hmm,
I think we all have learned from the pandemic, Ruqayya, that the fake is not working anymore, right? We've got to stop fooling ourselves. And I have been saying it over and over again to everyone, and I'm going to say this again at your beautiful platform also. Guys, life is too short. Life is too precious. It is too unpredictable. We all are sitting here right now. Some of us may not wake up tomorrow, right? Fact of life. And if we do not wake up tomorrow, or we do not wake up after 5 years or 10 years, whenever, remember that you are going to be remembered by your deeds. Your money, your looks, your whatever you've been doing is not going to count. What you're going to be remembered by is what you left behind as your words, as your behavior, as the lives you touched. So if you can add, I just one suggestion to make to everybody here. Can I do that on your platform, Rukaya?
yes, yes, please.
There is something I do which is called secret blessings, right? Secret blessings. It's not a charity, it's not an NGO. So please don't get the wrong impression. It's something that you do for this universe, for your soul, you do it. So when I pass by any street and I see any people who are in a very tattered, uncomfortable, unhappy, sad condition, right, because of poverty or sickness or whatever, whenever I'm passing by, I will just close my eyes for 1 second and put them in a circle of light. It doesn't matter whether you know light work or you don't. We are all light workers. We all already have the light, right? So all I say is just say a prayer and say, may you find comfort in your condition. If I see any person by the roadside cooking their meal for the night on a little, stove with some coal and smoke and all of that, I will say, may the food that you are cooking nourish you and give you the strength that you need to survive, right? When you see an old man driving a two-wheeler or a car and trying to struggle through the traffic, all you say is, please drive safe and reach home safely to your loved ones. That's all, right? These are secret blessings. And secret blessings are the ones that God approves of, and that's what the Creator listens to, and they come back to you many, many, many fold. That's all I have to say.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And we already have lots of love and gratitude come pouring in. Thank you, Vidya. Amazing session. Thanks a ton, Tashi, for such a beautiful session. Loved it.
Thank you, Vidya, for receiving it. Thank you for receiving it.
Pooja says always, Tashi knows. Uh, thanks a ton. One more Wise Wednesday for you. So thank you, everybody. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and being part of the conversation, creating that ripple effect and this conversation, making it so magical. If you are new to the channel, do subscribe. And yes, because as I said, then you become a part of my circle of genius and you grow with the ripple effect that will carry forward. So thank you again. Have a great rest of the evening, rest of the day, wherever you are. And thank you once again for being part of this conversation. Good night from
Thank
us,
you,
and
everyone.
I will see you later. Thanks.
Keep shining. Keep shining.
Oh,
Mwah.
yes.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Keep
Love you.
shining. Yes. Bye bye.
Yes. Bye bye.